What's up, Mortgage Coach community? We have a very exciting Friday mastermind. Of course, I'm excited every Friday for these mastermind calls because I'm with Todd Bookspan, founder of Win by Noon, Mr. Win by Noon. What's up, Todd?
Not much. I was laughing because same thing. I just love these Friday masterminds when we get together and get to bring in new people that I get to meet that I haven't met before and share exciting news today. I'm really stoked for what you guys are rolling out for the community. I think it's really important, and I'm excited to not only have some amazing loan officers here to talk about it, but also to have Jacob Gibbs here to be able to show us the detail of how to make it work, whether you're a loan officer, and then also kind of how we're going to look at it from a leadership perspective. I'm super stoked.
Love it, dude. So before I introduce everyone, the topic today is, it is a fact that there is 18 trillion in home equity. And it is a fact that's the most home equity in recorded times. So families have more equity than ever before. And it is also a data fact that consumer debt increased by 800 billion in 2020. So I don't know exactly if that's the most consumer debt people have ever had. When I say consumer debt, I'm talking about non-tax deductible debt, car loans, credit card debts, student loans, anything that's non-tax deductible, but it's a lot. And so it's a fact that creates an opportunity for families to actually leverage and optimize their debt. And it's an opportunity for mortgage advisors. So I've invited a very special group of leaders to help us, one, get clear on the opportunity, two, how to best advise a client, how to care for someone and truly give them advice, and how to help them make an informed decision. To have this conversation, we have Jacob Gibbs. Jacob has been a leader on the Mortgage Coach team for over 13 years. Anything that starts with the word T, technology, Jacob touches. He runs the dev team. He's runs the support team. He just makes sure that, when you think of the product of Mortgage Coach, that advice engine that kills it, like, it's got Jacob's fingerprints all over it. So Jacob, thanks for coming here, brother.
Hey, thanks, Dave. It's a real pleasure to be on the call. I'm looking really forward to talking about some exciting new features. So thanks for having me. And hey, thanks for that intro, Todd. Appreciate it, man. Always nice to be with you on here.
Yeah, and some of you probably recognize Jacob's voice. If you've ever listened to one of our how-to videos, there's a pretty good chance you've heard that voice before. No one has created more Mortgage Coach how-to videos than Jacob. So, dude, I am fired up. I also asked a regular rock star in the Mortgage Coach community, Keith Collins. While Keith is not an expert yet on this new superpower that we have, he did see the press release and he reached out to me. Hey, Dave, where's all the best training content? So one, I can learn it. And two, as a leader, I can share it with my team. And I'm like, oh, dude, wait till you see what we have now. And so, Keith, good to have you, brother.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it was, the timing for this is perfect. And I really think just kind of going into 2021 here has been a great year. We're trending upwards still, but I mean, all the stats that we see for 2022 is that we're going to have, potentially $1 trillion less in refinance opportunity. And so, as a leader as well of some loan officers, I'm trying to figure out opportunities for us to not have decreases in our production in 2022. And I think, it's going to be a little harder to come by refinances, but with the opportunities in front of us in this debt consolidation tool, I think it's going to open up some more loans so we don't have to have that dip. So I'm fired up about this. This is just a perfect topic running into the year.
Well, one more thing I want you to think about is, guys, we're talking about, in many cases, incremental loans. Like, when someone does a rate and term refi, they're like, hey, I heard rates are low. What can you do? And it's really obvious. Everybody, when it's a purchase, hey, I'm buying a home. What can you do? But when it comes to debt consolidation loans and home improvement loans, in a lot of situations, you have to create that opportunity. You have to ask questions, diagnose it. And guys, what does that mean? That means loans you would not have otherwise had, loans that your competitors would have otherwise not had. And then one last important note is, guys, we know that the machine's not coming. The machine is here. Like, there are big publicly owned mortgage companies. That's not a secret. There's never been more Super Bowls, mortgage companies doing Super Bowl ads. So like the easy rate and term refis where it's cookie cutter, those are going to be harder and harder and harder to do as years come by. So you need to kill it with purchase, and you need to kill it with solution solving for homeowners. So debt consol is like, how do you make the next 10 years of your career? even better. So we also have Sheldon Cooney, who's been a mortgage coach for a long time. He is a red belt mortgage coach, grandmaster, means he's done over 1,000 TCAs. Sheldon, I loved the interview we did recently because you did a good job of explaining how do you turn client retention, how you use Mortgage Coach, how you use HomeBot, how you use the fact that you're just a badass advisor, and how do you use that as a value prop for realtors. So I loved that interview, brother, and it's good to have you.
Thanks for having me again, Dave. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, you killed it. And guys, there's a YouTube video. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was how to turn your customer retention strategies into a value prop for realtors. Make sure you check it out. It's in the YouTube channel. We'll put a link in all channels in a minute. Highly recommend you watch it. Like, I really got into the weeds about it. So I'm going to start with, and also remember, guys, if you have questions, let us know what your questions are. We're going to handle this strategically, high level, and then we're going to get into very specific how-tos, how to create a debt consult in Mortgage Coach, how to, if you are a manager or leader, how to train all your loan officers to do this. We're going to get into a lot of details. But Jacob, why don't you go first with why did we create this new superpower of the debt consult? And what kind of feedback are you hearing from the Mortgage Coach community so far?
Well, I would say the reasons why we created it, it was a missing element. In the past, if you wanted to do a debt consolidation inside of the advice engine, you had to trick it a little bit. You basically had to put in a custom fee for your debt payoffs, and it really wasn't accounting for things like the interest that you're saving on those debts over time. And we knew that that was a hole. So we had a lot of people asking about that. Debt consolidations were starting to become a little more popular as consumer debt was increasing. And of course, there was a lull there when rates were so low, everybody was just doing rate and term refis, and cash out refis were kind of trouble. But now the situation's reversed a little bit, so it's perfect timing. But obviously the reasons why you'd want to do a debt consolidation, they can number, all over the place. But one, the most important is consolidating high interest debt. I mean, you want to show your borrowers a way to reduce their monthly payment, yes, but also pay less interest on that same amount of money that they've already borrowed. So that's a key component for educating your borrowers. Also, there's life changes that happens, divorces, there's any number of changes that can happen that says, I need to change my mortgage situation. And part of this is my consumer debt. I got to split it up. I got to do something, I'm underwater on a different loan. I've got to free up cash flow to do something else. Or it could be something as simple as, hey, I need to plan out my life. I'm not saving any money right now, and I need to start developing a nest egg. So, I heard I can make money with my mortgage. How do I do that? Well, there's where we ask people like yourselves who are there to really help guide the borrower towards a solution that's going to help them long term.
So I'm going to add another reason why, guys, is there's a whole industry around asset managers, and there is an ungodly amount of technology that would help a financial planner and a financial advisor analyze someone's assets and help them manage them, help them report on how they perform, and help them optimize them. In fact, Acorn, really cool app. I use it, does a great job. I mean, you can just download the Acorn app, save money, pick different investment profiles, little drag and drop. If I pick this fund, how will things perform and how much money will I have? Guys, the world is full of asset management advisors and tools and apps to do it. And guys, the world is not full of liability management solutions. While we had some tools to do that in Mortgage Coach, and you could do it at a really high level, it did not meet our standards. Like, our standards are to be the ultimate mortgage calculator. In fact, we were the first technology company on planet Earth that when you wanted to do a refinance and you wanted to make sure that you were looking at the current loan based off of when it started, we started that. I mean, we did that over a decade. We were like, oh, we want to make sure that people can do a true refi analysis. We invented that. We want to make sure that when someone refinances and they want to take that savings and put it either in their mortgage to pay it off faster or put that money in the bank, Mortgage Coach was the first. We were like, consumers don't have everything they need to know. We're going to give it to them. When it comes to rent versus own, we were the first rent versus own analysis in America where we really built it. So guys, we're always looking for ways of where is there a gap for a family that wants to build wealth with real estate by making smarter mortgage decisions. mortgage coach. Like there can be no gaps. So we needed to fill the gap, and we did. We invented the mortgage industry's, not just mortgage, fintech's ultimate debt consolidation analysis, where there's no gaps. Like financial planners will look at what you're doing. Like when you show a financial planner this debt consol, they're going to be like, I want this. Well, you have this. Refer the client to me and you have it. So you guys are going to be certified liability managers. Todd Ballinger has been a friend of mine. He's one of the smartest guys on planet Earth when it comes to financial advisors, has a company and a thing that a number of mortgage coaches are going through right now called Borrow Smart University. And he used to have a competitive platform, but he's like, Dave, what you've done at Mortgage Coach with the TCA, with everything else, it's the best. So I'm not going to talk about it in this call, but he's got a great training program that really helps you be a certified liability advisor. So guys, there's just all kinds of opportunity for you here. So Keith, I'm going to ask you now why, when you saw that we had this debt consol analysis and you were like texting me like, Dave, I need this. What was your why? And you're on mute, Keith.
I get you. There's tremendous opportunity right now. And I think I said that a little bit earlier, but at the consumer level, this is life-changing. I mean, we've done some analysis before, and Jacob's got it, where we kind of have to fudge the numbers a little bit on the background to show what they're paying off. And I think, one of the biggest ones that we've done is, when you have a borrower looking to refinance, they got a bunch of consumer debt, and you take the savings that they're going to have on a monthly basis that they're using to kind of to just manage that debt, and then reapply it towards the principal, pay the loan off. And we've done scenarios where they're shaving 15 years off the loan and then wiping out all their debt. I mean, this is massive and life-changing for our customers. So I think it's huge. And what we need to do is, like, we're in an experience economy, right? So there's just so many things here, right? It's massively helping people with their finances, but it's creating an opportunity for them to just rave about you. You do that for somebody, they're going to talk to everybody about what we did for them. And then it's offsetting the reduction in opportunity in the future. We have over $1 trillion less in refinance volume in 2022 than we did in 2020. It's a fact. That's just a thing. And so I mean, this is multifaceted, and it's going to really help us offset and improve people's lives, continue to build our brand, and just thrive in this mortgage space. And I'm fired up that, like, it's built to do this, whereas we're not fudging the numbers anymore. We're not playing with it. Like, it's set up here, and I can accurately show this to a customer. And as you're saying that, like, I'm all fired up about asset managers. I mean, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, man, I'm just going to do videos around this and send it directly to asset managers, because I have 2 or 3 financial advisors that I work with. And the reason they're working with me is their clients, their client showed them the mortgage coach analysis that we put together. They reach out to me and like, this is awesome. I've never seen a lender do this. So playing with this tool a little bit more, I think is going to present even more opportunity for me and my advisors.
So I forecast that there will be a number of smart mortgage coaches in every city in America that are using LinkedIn, because, guys, it's easier than ever between Google and LinkedIn to target asset managers. And it's never been easier to create a video where you're like, here's a story and here's a strategy that every asset advisor in America needs to know, or every asset advisor in Sacramento, California. Now I got 2 guys in the Sacramento area, so we'll compete, see who gets after it faster and better. But guys, it's going to blow up. I mean, first of all, it's already blowing up, and I founded Mortgage Coach on that concept. But trust me, guys, you want to be able to create a mortgage coach debt consolidation analysis, and then you want to be able to put headlines and marketing around it so that every advisor in your market knows about it. And by the way, guys, there's also a real estate angle around this, because realtors need listings. So sometimes it's a debt consolidation analysis, and sometimes it's a move up analysis, and you're helping families go, you know what? I got all this equity. There's families out there that have enough equity and they've got some debt that they could sell the home they're in, pay off some of that debt, qualify for a bigger home, put some money in the bank in an interest-bearing account with a financial advisor, and actually 10 years from now, based off their belief of interest rates, have, like, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars of more equity in their dream home today. So we're going to talk about all that. So Sheldon, I invited you this because you are a baller, at the company you work for, you kill it, you use a mortgage coach. And when I was getting ready to interview, you were like, hey, Dave, I got a really cool debt consolidation analysis. So that means before we even sent out our press release, you found this function in Mortgage Coach, you learned how to do it, and you were like, let's just say one of the first 100 mortgage coaches to use this feature. Why? Like, why are you that guy?
All the things you guys already said. I mean, I've been tricking the system, as Robert or Jacob said, since I started doing refinances and Mortgage Coach back in 2014. I basically would just add their credit card debt as a second mortgage so that they could see what they're paying, what they're really paying, and why they need to consolidate this debt and how much money we can save them. And then also piggybacking on what you're saying, Dave, about purchase, like for lack of a better term, a purchase debt consolidation. When people call you and say they want to put 40% down, but they've got $50,000 in credit card debt, well, all of a sudden, maybe they put 30% down or 20% down, they pay off that credit card debt, and their move up buy, their debt load is exactly the same. And then they get the house that they want, their dream home, and they're able to live there. And really their monthly outflow has not changed at all.
Love that. Well, our president of our company, Joe Patur, is going to hear this call, and he's going to love what you said, because he's got a lot of passion around just helping families make the best mortgage decision. And part of how this got prioritized to do everything that we do is he's like, you know what? We can't just help people make the right mortgage decision. We need to make sure we include all of their liabilities in the most detailed, in the most transparency way possible. So we're going to get into that in just a minute, guys. Todd Bookspan, you've heard all this. I mean, you've run one of the biggest teams in America, consistently doing over 500 loans a year. You've been a coach for Building Champion. You are Mr. Win by Noon now, but you have a perspective around this. So why do you think it's important that not only loan officers understand this opportunity and can execute on it, but managers, heads of production, regional leaders? What are some of your thoughts, Todd?
Well, it's funny because I was thinking back to when I first got Mortgage Coach, 20 plus years ago, and you guys back in the day had debt consolidation built in. So I just love the fact that it's back now, because that was one of my favorite tools as a loan officer. And, I think as a leader, when we're talking about the fact that that refinances are going to be down, I think there's a risk. There's a risk of losing good loan officers who haven't built their purchase business yet. And I think it's just an opportunity to come alongside of them with, two plans, right? One plan to help them build their referral business. And, with all the other conversations that we've been having, about using the Modern Real Estate 365 pass and all the other things that we've talked about to help loan officers grow that side of it. But then the other part is how to keep them going with refinances. And I just think it's just a great opportunity. I mean, I spent time with Joe before, and I know his passion around, getting people out of debt. And I feel like, and getting a great mortgage, I feel like this is just an opportunity for leaders to help educate their loan officers on a tool that they probably don't know as well as they should, a strategy that they're not implementing like they could. And now that it's going to be easily available in Mortgage Coach, I think it's just a great opportunity for leaders to plan around it. And then if I'm a loan officer, I'm going to be watching Keith Collins and see all the videos he creates, and I'm just going to swipe and adapt those as long as I'm not in his market. Sorry, Sheldon. I'm going to swipe and adapt those, and I'm going to deploy those in my market as a loan officer to grow my business.
Dude, I want to jump in on that real quickly. Like, I steal half of my content, and so it just repurpose it. Like, it's okay. Like, repurpose it but put it in your own words. There's 5 or 6 videos that just completely ripped off from other Mortgage Coach advisors that are in the Mortgage Coach community, and I've seen them do it on my videos, and it's okay. So 100% take the videos, copy it, but put it in your own words and deliver it out to your people like that. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what it's out there for. So I know you're making a joke about it, but like, it's a thing. Go do it. Use this content, put it in your own words, repurpose it, and send it back out. And you're just going to get a ton of business from it. It's just good stuff.
I absolutely wasn't making a joke about it, because you are so good, Keith Collins. I mean, I've seen you over the past couple of years grow. I just love it, my friend. And so I do think that's the beauty of this community. I feel like most of the time that no one's going to be offended when you borrow their stuff. So I love that you put it out there, Keith, to everyone to swipe and adapt, because I think that that's the key. And you got to put it in your own words, right? Just don't, put your face over Keith's face and then have it, move the mouth and have it, go that way. I do something, put the old, your own personal spin on it. And I think the key right here, going back to the leadership part, Dave, is that, like I said, I do believe that there's a risk. I think there's a risk that someone newer in the business who you recruited, who you think has great potential, is going to flame out before they can get the momentum coming off of this refi boom. And I think this is just a great opportunity to help get them some lift as they're transitioning back over to being a purchase-focused loan officer.
Love it. So guys, we're going to go into training mode. I think we've made the case for why there's data that means there's a lot of opportunity out here. There's referral partners, asset advisors that you could kill it with. I mean, you could just bring in tons of leads and referrals. You need more loans, and we're going to show you how to do it now. So a couple things I want to cover when we talk about training. I want to remind you guys, I interview top producers. This is a new loan officer. Alex Cook, last year was his first year in the business. And I interviewed him for the first time when he had his first month where he closed over 20 loans in a single month. And we did this interview about what he called the single mom refi. So one, check out this interview. It's like 15 minutes. I actually invited Alex to be on this call with Sheldon. He couldn't make it, but I want to make sure that you're aware of this. So if you want to become a Jedi Master of this, listen to this video and make note that when you go into the show notes, and I do this every time I do an interview, if someone covered a TCA, I put a link to it. So you want to see the actual total cost analysis that he did for the single mom refi, it's right here. And you want to click on the new debt consolidation analysis features, it's right here. And just, to give 1 minute to what he did here, there was a single mom. She wanted to refi. She was 10 years into her loan, so she didn't want to go backwards on her loan. She needed, I think, about $5,000 for some home improvements. She had a considerable amount of debt, and he was able to say, hey, let's refinance. Here's your $5,000 for home improvements. Here's debt consolidation. And yeah, it could increase the time it's going to take you to pay your home. But if you took that savings and you reinvested it, he gave her a choice. With the same cash flow and the home improvement, you can either pay off your house 9 years faster, or you can pay off your house a year faster. I mean, this woman was literally in tears, like single mom. She was able to optimize her debt, solve a cash flow problem, fix her up her home, and actually pay off her home faster. And then the other cool thing that Alex did.
Go back to that. Show me that screen there again. Go back to that screen.
We're going to do that with Sheldon in a minute here.
Dude, that was amazing.
Okay. I'll go back to the screen.
That graph is freaking awesome. I haven't seen that yet, dude. I was like, what?
Oh yeah. So by the way, it's interactive, guys. So literally, you got 10%. It's interactive, and the family can go, oh, let's look at things short-term in details, or let's look at things long-term. So the family, and when Sheldon does his overview, he's going to show an overview where he did not necessarily click on the debt consol. He just stayed high level, because that's part of Mortgage Coach. Like, you want it high level here, you want to peel back the onion and really get into the details, here you go.
You can print that too. That can be printed.
Of course.
Or like just do a PDF of that. Dude, that's beautiful. I'm so excited.
Let's wait for Jacob in a minute here, and he'll tell you all the things we can do. We'll get into that in nerdy details. The last thing I want to say, and then Sheldon, get ready to share your screen and walk us through a TCA, and then Jacob, we're going to come to you, is he took that story, he picked up his camera, and for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he just talked about the single mom refi and how jacked he was about it. And you know what? Within a couple of days, he had 2 debt consolidation refis. He did put $100 on it. And he boosted it in Facebook, and he got 2 debt consol loans. And then a month later, he's like, you know what? That worked. I'm gonna put another $100 on it. Put another $100 on it. Got 2 more debt consol refis. And when I did this interview, he was about 3 months into it, and he was over 6 incremental extra loans from his Facebook friends. So guys, what we're talking about here is not just a Mortgage Coach innovation. It's not just a mortgage innovation. It's an innovation on how families optimize debt in America. So with that said, Sheldon, why don't you got about 5 minutes to tell us a story on how you use Mortgage Coach, And then Jacob and I are going to get into training and you guys can ask questions. So Keith, feel free to jump in with any questions as they come up.
Okay. So can I share my screen, Dave?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
And by the way, Sheldon, remind folks what kind of volume you do, what kind of mortgage production.
So last year I did over 300 units for, I don't know, like 105, 110 million. And this year, I think like 100 units year to date and right around 30 million.
So guys, we're talking about, an elite professional, $100 million producer, helped over 300 families last year. And Sheldon, would you say that Mortgage Coach is saving you time? It's not like, oh, this is extra work and, it takes me more time to do a loan. Like, it's saving you time.
Oh, 100%. I mean, without Mortgage Coach, I think I would work, another 4 hours a day, to be honest with you. I just don't know how you could do it.
I like that.
Everybody should give this guy a follow too. He's in my market, so directly in my market, and on social, it's his brand and personality is amazing. I'm always watching him. I'm like, what did you just do?
So, and I actually want to speak to that because I think it's funny what you brought up, Todd. Like, I want Keith to win, and I'm sure Keith wants me to win. Like, I don't feel like I'm competing against Keith. Like, I would go get a home loan from Keith. I know that he knows what he's doing and that he has my best interest at heart. Like, I'm competing against Chase and Wells Fargo and Quicken Loans as far as I'm concerned. So I would trust Keith inherently with, and I don't know if we've ever even gone up on a deal together, and we've worked in the same market for 20 plus years, so anyhow.
I want to insert something there. I want you to be any fee worksheet loan officer. Like, I want mortgage coaches, families that are loan officers that are helping families make informed decisions, helping families build wealth with real estate faster, to be loan officers. Any loan officer that's got a fee worksheet, you guys should take it away. Right. Anyways, what do we got here?
Yeah. So anyhow, just to set the stage here, this couple called me back in early part of April. They had their second child, I want to say in the end of 2019. The wife stopped working, and they just racked up about $20,000 in credit card debt as a result of the reduction in income and obviously additional expenses associated with the new baby. So they were currently on their current mortgage at 4%, and they had just contacted me about doing a rate and term refinance, and they were actually going to liquidate money out of an IRA to pay off the debt and pay taxes on that and all that stuff. And I said, you know what, let me just put a cost analysis together for you guys, and I think you're going to be much better served consolidating that debt into your mortgage. So they were currently at 4%. Their total mortgage payment with their debt was close to $2,500 a month. And the freedom point or remaining term was a little over 26 years. The first thing I went over with them is that we could consolidate all of the debt into 3.25 and basically drop their monthly outflow by over $600 a month. Over 5 years, it was going to save them north of $21,000, and over 10 years, it was going to save them over $35,000. So that's the first thing I showed them. And then I showed them the apples to apples comparison. I said, hey guys, if you refinance and reinvest that money back into your mortgage, you will have your loan paid off in under 17 years. And the husband just fell out of his chair when I said that to him. He was just like, you mean I could be debt free in under 17 years? He just couldn't believe it. And then the last thing that I showed them was that, okay, here's what you first called me about was just a normal standard rate and term refinance. Yes, the rate's a little bit better, but look at your total monthly payment with the credit card debt. You're not saving near as much money as if you consolidate that debt. And over 5 years, relative to what you could save with the consolidation, I mean, we're talking, apples to apples, almost $20,000 in interest savings with the consolidation. And over 10 years, it's even more dramatic. And it was, they were all in after a 5-minute call.
Hey, Sheldon, this is awesome, man. You had mentioned there on the the fourth scenario, no consolidation, no more refinance. And you had mentioned how much they're saving without the actual debt, like servicing the debt. So are you actually putting the monthly payments into there for the credit card debt to show them like this is your total outflow?
In the total cost analysis feature, Keith, in the options, you click on the debts and you can have them not paid off.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
Or you
100%.
can, yeah, you can have it a partial payoff or whatever. So yeah, this last column, obviously the two consolidations were paying off all the credit card debt and the last column were not. So it shows them what their total outflow would be with just a standard refinance and keeping the credit card debt there.
And Jacob's going to show how that works in a minute.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant too. What I love that you've done here as well is not only, you know, are you showing them what they can do, you're comparing what they called for and you're saying, look what,
Right.
that I love that additional touch. And I know that, you know, from a comparison standpoint, like, you know, showing them this is what you need to do, but also just kind of calling it out. Like, you called me out for this. We're pivoting a little bit and I'm showing how we can pay off your loan in 17 years. That's a really cool, because I think a lot of people might just stop and say, hey, look, like, this is what we should do instead. But you're actually calling out like, here, I've gone the extra. This is what you called me for,
Right.
but here's what we should do instead. I think it's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Keith, any other sales strategy questions or sales leadership to people that are listening to this that come to mind?
You know, it's really cool because I'm watching this, you know, Sheldon, as you're kind of explaining to the customer. And the thing that I would add is just more of a, you know, the feature where you can do a share screen within with, you know, the TCA live with a customer. You know, you're in here and you're highlighting things as you're explaining it to me. And it's really easy for me to follow what you're talking about as you're highlighting the interest rate, pointing out the payment, pointing out the freedom point, because this is a lot of data for kind of the average customer. And so what I love to do, and I'm wondering if you're doing this too, Sheldon, but for me, like, I'm making sure that the customer has the link when we're doing the call. And then that beautiful feature within Mortgage Coach, where you basically take over their screen and they're seeing what you're showing them as you're talking about the numbers. I feel like it just helps them so much just grasp what we're explaining.
So let's do this, guys, because we're at the halfway point. Sheldon, if you can stop sharing your screen.
Yep.
And then Jacob, you know, before I have you go through and, you know, one, demo the new capability, call out how people can learn to do this. I do warn you, Jacob, I'd love for you kind of ad hoc to grab the link when you do get into that demo part of it and give it to everyone in chat so that they can follow along and use the feature that Keith just called out, Mortgage Coach Live. But Jacob, before we do that, any comments you have about what you just saw or any speed tips you have from what you just heard from Sheldon?
Well, I would just say, first off, you know, congrats, Sheldon. That's an awesome report, you know, and your high level explanation of it. I love it. I mean, it's exactly what we're trying to do. You know, there is nuts and bolts in the background that you could really drive them into. And if they wanted to steer you into the weeds, yeah, they can pop that open and figure out exactly what's going on. But, you know, from the start to finish, you know, your presentation was, look, you asked me for one thing, I'll show you that, but I've got a couple other options that are probably going to be a little bit better for you. So let's take a look at those together. And then your explanation of what each process was, spot on, man. Really like it. I think you did a great job. I'd love to see the video that you put on this presentation as well. Did you have one on there?
Yeah, to protect the names, I kind of duplicated the cost analysis. So yeah.
Hey, Sheldon, do me a favor. Someone had just asked for the link, and it sounds like you made you didn't give the family's link. You made a new one. If you could, after this call, add a video, but do it as though you're a coach for the Mortgage Coach community, and this is going to become a lesson within our thing, and let people know, like, hey, mortgage coaches, this is typically my scripting, or this is the kind of scripting I did in my Mortgage Coach video. So you're giving some sales leadership to anyone that wants to go to school on this TCA. Are you cool with that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So guys, he'll put a link in chat while Jacob's talking to this TCA, and then it will have a video. And if you're watching the recording this on YouTube, probably already has the video. So Jacob, why don't you give us, you got about 10 minutes, give us a 10-minute lesson on how this works. Remember, Jacob, you've got a full how-to video. Like, you don't have to redo that. But I do want people to know what we did, and I do want them to know from you the guy with Joe Patur, our president, that helped lead this and create this new innovation.
All right, excellent. Well, I guess first things first, let me start off by showing you how you can learn how to do this. So besides watching this video or watching one of the support videos, we've got some in-app training that's available for you already. You may not notice this, but you've probably received alerts that look like this: new training available, and one says debt consolidation refi. And when you click that, it just tells you what to do. You just have to create a new presentation and then select the training from the dropdown. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. You just hit new client, and then you'll see this available trainings drop down here. And one of the trainings that's in here is your debt consolidation refinance training. Now, some of you may have more trainings, some of you may have less trainings. If you're on an enterprise group, for example, your team may have injected some trainings in there that are specific for your brand. So yours may look a little bit different than mine. If you're a broker user, solo user in our systems, you may only have 1 or 2 in there. So don't worry about it if you don't have a ton of them. It's perfectly normal. But what you're looking to do here is once you've selected
Time
this,
out, Jacob.
Yes,
Guys,
go ahead,
I want to make sure we call this out, guys. So this is a true innovation. I mean, not only is the advice engine been something for many years that can help you give better advice, it's now it's a training platform. We added gamification last year so that we're recognizing and rewarding behaviors, habits, and new skills that you've created. But guys, now we've built training into the product. So if you're an individual loan officer, like, we are your black belt in mortgage advice training platform. If you're watching this and you're a branch manager, guys, we are your training tool. If you are the leader of a big company and you have regional leaders, not only can we build training on how to do the debt consol, we could throw in the move up analysis, a rent versus own analysis. In today's market and bidding wars, the appraisal gap. So we can build training into the platform, automate it, and help you as leaders in the mortgage industry train your sales force at scale. So Jacob, before you go on, I just want to get some impressions. Keith, what are your thoughts on that? Just knowing how many people you're responsible for and you lead.
I think it's amazing, man. I mean, I think it was an interesting question and answer in the beginning with Sheldon. Is like, how long does this actually take you to do? And coming from a guy like, I've only been using Mortgage Coach, I think, since 2018, but I did sign up 2 or 3 times before. And for me, it was always, I couldn't get around switching my process to get into this. But once I did, my team won't look back. And so, there's literally no other way to show a customer, at least I don't know one, a debt consolidation analysis outside of creating your own spreadsheet or doing something you're doing on paper with a calculator. And that takes so much time, and it's not professional, and it doesn't look good. And to be able to do it like this that quickly, I think for a lot of people, if there's people out there that it's like, man, it takes too long to do a TCA. It's bogus. Once you get into it, it's 5 minutes, maybe 10, but there's no other way to show a customer what we're trying to show a customer in the amount of time with the professionalism that you have. It's just bonkers, and it sets you apart from any other person. There's no comparison.
So
it blows people away.
So guys, make a note right now. If you're an enterprise client, you've always had a success coach trainer. So success managers that help train your people. You now have a mortgage coach automated assistant, and every mortgage coach has it. It's built into the platform. Todd, as a coach and industry leader, what are your impressions of that?
Well, the funny part is I'm scratching my head saying, I've never seen that training before. Like, that is just super, super cool. And I think, you called it out, Dave. I mean, we talked about it last year when you guys went to the gamification and pulled out the red belt and black belt, which, by the way, everyone, just so you know, we're all clear that a red belt is actually better than a black belt, even though we all thought the opposite. And if I just think anything, from a leadership perspective that makes it easier is what you guys are rolling out. So I continue to love it. I know you guys do live training, but I think loan officers are too busy, so to speak, to go watch it. I know you guys have recorded training. I feel like loan officers don't use it enough. So now it's in their face, and this is a great help.
Automated training, guys. So Jacob, sorry for cutting you off there. I just wanted to make sure we really called out that feature because it's a new superpower. If you are a branch manager, let your regional know about this. If you're a regional leader, let your head of production know about this. We want to help the mortgage coach community of both lenders and loan officers be advisors, like Amazon proof your business because you can give advice. And this debt consolidation is a new superpower that you need to know how to do. So keep rocking, Jacob.
Hey, Jacob, will you back up real quick in here and then just go back into this so everybody can kind of see it? And then be talking about it, how to get into this, and just back out and then go back right back in. There we go.
Absolutely. So you're just going to hit new client here, just like you would to create a new TCA. But instead of just starting down and completing the information, you have this drop down at the very top with available trainings. And that's where you're going to select your debt consolidation refinance training. Let me jump back into the one I had open. And then Keith, I saw you were about to say something. Did you have something else?
No, that was perfect. That was
Okay.
exactly it. I was going to say that was perfect. I'm like, nah, I don't need to, but
Okay.
we're good.
Right on. Thanks, man. Okay, so the way this training works is that there's this card that appears basically in the middle of the screen here. It can look different depending on the size of your screen. If you're on a really tiny laptop, you might see the format of this change to accommodate your screen. But one thing I want to point out to you is anytime you're doing these training modules, you can also dock this information in the toolbar. You can do that by using this little push pin here, and it'll just go over to the right. Now, this is important because when you get into the product screens, you'll see that it gets pretty busy up at the top here. So I like to dock it to the right and just kind of follow along as I'm going through the training. But we give you the step-by-step instructions, put in your borrower name. You really don't need to complete a whole lot on this first screen. And then as you move forward, you'll notice that the training element updates. So now it's saying, hey, there's no mandatory fields in this screen. For this training, just hit next. We're not even going to enter any contact information. And then we get to the goals section. And then here is the current liabilities training. This is just a quick hit on how to enter your current liabilities. And then this is all the written detail for how you can add those debt items. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Basically, when you want to add debt items, you're just going to check the goal to pay off my debts. And then you've got this new button here called debts. And in here, you can actually add debt items. Now, you'll notice that there's going to be an empty mortgage when you begin. And the reason is because when you get to the assumptions, you're actually going to enter that mortgage. So we'll fill this in for you once you get there. But for now, I want to add my liability debts. So let's say I've got my auto debt, I've got an installment loan, maybe I've got a credit card. You can name them. And let's see, this is something like that. That should date me. I don't know if anybody has an HSBC card anymore. And then you're going to put in your balances. So there. And you're going to put in the rate on that. So my auto loan, let's say I got a 5% rate, installment loan, I'm somewhere around 7%, credit card 18%, like most credit cards. And then really important, the payment type. You can tell us, how do you want this payment to work? Well, this is an auto loan. You can do it as a percentage of the balance, but an auto loan is a fixed payment. So we're going to choose fixed instead. And we're actually just going to enter the payment, $450. All right, great. Then we get to the installment loan. You know what? That one's going to be a fixed payment as well. So I'll just enter, maybe $350 there. And then my credit card, that one is always going to be, I like to use greater of, because you can use the greater of the two, a percentage of the balance or a minimum payment. Most credit cards are just going to use a minimum payment based on a percentage of the balance, something like 3%. And that's perfectly acceptable to do. But if you do want to go a little bit farther in it, you can say greater of. My credit card requires 3% or a minimum of $50. So just up to you. Don't have to. I like to do this on credit cards though. And then once you have finished putting in your debts, just hit the X here and your debts are in place. And then just keep following along here and it'll tell you what to do. You can see there's actually even questions in here to make sure you understand. So which button takes you to the current liabilities entry page? Well, is it debts or is it the import button? It's the debts button. All right, great. Go ahead and submit that. Perfect. Let's move along to the next screen now. So I'm just going to hit next here. And you can see all we're asking for in this screen is the property value. So let's put in property value there. And then we're just going to keep going forward. Now it's time to collect the current mortgage because we're going to pay off a mortgage. We're going to increase the new payoff to cover all the debts. But one thing I do want to draw your attention to, actually, this previous screen here, there's a free and clear checkbox. If you are doing an analysis against a free and clear property, there is no current mortgage, you can still do a debt consolidation refinance, basically taking out a new equity line, a new mortgage just to pay off that consumer debt. So don't think you absolutely have to have a current mortgage in here. You can actually do it against a free and clear as well. And when you do that, it won't ask you for the current mortgage information, by the way. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the current mortgage. Let's say I took this out in 2016 for 200,000. And back then it was a 5.5 rate on a 30-year term. And then you can update the balance if you want to. I like to use the auto update because it just basically pulls in the balance based on what this amortization would cause from regular payments. But if they've made additional payments, uncheck that box. And let's say they actually paid it down to 175. You can actually enter that and it'll adjust the freedom point accordingly. And you can see that's what it's talking about over here on the right. And then we're just going to keep clicking through. So next, okay, what are my current monthly costs? Well, for hazard insurance, they got $100. And property tax, they're paying about $250. And then no mortgage insurance on this guy because it's been a while. But one thing to keep in mind here is mortgage insurance is a very powerful tool. So don't forget that this could be an opportunity to advise the borrower on refinancing out of mortgage insurance if they do have it, or potentially if you have to get them into a higher LTV loan to pay off this debts, it might still be beneficial for them to do that and take MI on that new cash out. So kind of keep that in mind. There's some specific strategies you can do around mortgage insurance. So don't just skip it. All right. So now that I've got my my monthly costs in there, I'm going to just keep going forward. And we get into our affordability section. Now, this is kind of a pre-qual page for you. So you don't necessarily have to fill out a whole lot here, but if you do want to show a reinvestment, say you're saving them a bunch of money every month, and you want to put that back in their current savings account, you can indicate what they have in their savings account right now. So for example, they've got $5,000 in their savings, and that's growing at a 0.1% because it's at a major bank. So we're getting very little return on that. But we can show how to put the money back in their bank. We might even show another option, putting it with a financial planner into a much higher yield rate. So keep this in mind. You really do want to represent what their current situation is, because when you're showing them the new opportunity, you're showing them how they can increase their situation.
Hey, buddy, right there, where you're talking about that, because I think this is a huge pivot for financial advisors. So how would you do that? So if you're actually trying to show like, okay, let's take these savings and put it in an account and let it grow at a rate of X, or would you also do it right here?
I'm actually just building the building blocks right here.
Okay.
Where I would do that is in the analysis screen under the reinvestment strategy. So you have the ability to reinvest straight back into their current savings account or into a new vehicle. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to create another product and show this product with an investment into their current savings account was, almost zero yield. And then another product investing into this new account would say a 4 or 5% rate of return, and show them what the power is of using that investment opportunity.
So amazing.
Let's jump back into, let's see, we're in affordability. So I've got my my stuff in there. If you do want to show tax benefit, by the way, you might have noticed tax benefit on the presentation we were just looking at a moment ago. If you do want to show tax benefit, just enter a tax bracket here. It'll automatically fill in the tax benefit on your presentations. If you don't want to show it, and there's times when you don't want to show it, just don't put a tax bracket in here. It won't show up on your output report at all. So we'll keep going forward. You can see you won't need to enter anything on this page. So I'm just going to hit next. And now I get into my new products. And this is where it's time to really start building the advice for my client. And you can see we've put another video in here that just shows how to do these kind of refinance proposals. But in this one, I'm going to keep it really simple and just say pay off debts. And then I'm going to flip the refi switch. This is really important. This has to be a refi to use the debt consolidation because we're paying off the existing mortgage and we're paying off other items. So we're gonna go ahead and click yes on that. And you can see it brought in my base loan amount. This is the same number I used for my current balance back in the assumptions. So right now, if I did nothing, this is a rate and term refinance. So I'm going to leave the base loan amount as is. I'll enter my rate that I can get today. And for those of you who are on enterprise accounts that have access to integrations, you also have the get pricing button. You can actually get this rate straight from OB. We'll go ahead and put in a term. And then here's where the power comes in. Has debts. Do you want to include debts on this particular scenario? Check the box and you'll see another debts button. Now this information looks very similar to what you did back in the goals section where you were creating the debts. This one though is asking you, how do you want to act on these debts? Well, yes, I want to pay off their mortgage. I'm actually going to pay them off. I'm pay them all off. So I'm going to check the boxes to pay them off. Now you can see my total payoffs are 230. My new mortgage is only 175. So what do I need to do? I need to finance them in. So let's finance these guys in. And check it out, 230, 230, we're even. This is how you check your work to make sure you're paying off enough. Make sure you've got the right numbers in there so your cash to close doesn't come out wacky. But you can actually preview this presentation right now, and this will give you a sample of what the output is going to look like. So just doing this one product, I can see that I'm saving them $30,000, $33,000 in interest without doing any kind of a reinvestment strategy, just by paying off their debts and moving them into a new mortgage. And you can see the one part I'm missing here is the monthly costs. So these numbers will move up a little bit once I add those monthly costs in, but I'm saving them a good chunk of money per month too.
So guys, we just turned you into a mortgage coach, liability manager that is among the most elite mortgage professionals in the country. And you can literally, like, not only do we give you the tool to deliver it, we give you the training platform to learn to do it. And guys, this is opening up not just incremental loans that are available that you don't know about or you're not seeing, but new levels of referral partners. I mean, you will just be killing it with CPAs, financial planners, any type of advisor that helps families build wealth. Right now, most of America helps the families that, you know, have the most in assets build their wealth. But now the 90% of families where their mortgage and their liabilities are their biggest opportunity, you can help them. And right now, 90% of Americans who don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in asset management, they're underserved. They're not getting the advice that they need. You are equipped to give 90% of Americans the advice they need. Optimize your debt. So super powerful. Hey, Jacob, we got about 9 minutes. I do want to warn everybody, we're probably going to go 5 minutes over because it's such an important call. And there's some training assets that we haven't told you about yet. We did last year bring on an e-learning specialist. So full-time in-house team member whose full-time job is to build e-learning tools. So one of the e-learning tools that we've already shown you is the automated mortgage coach assistant, training assistant. But we're going to show you some other training tools and some consumer tools. Like, we want to help you train yourself. We want to help you teach consumers. And then we want to help you turn that into marketing, social media content. So stay, give yourself another 5 minutes because we're going to go over, but we got some more stuff to show. So Jacob, you can rock this out in the next 3 minutes so we can get into some of that other stuff.
Gotcha. No problem. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this guy out, and I will, I haven't included any closing costs yet. So at this point, I'm going to go into my closing cost detail, grab my template.
Hey guys, and I don't want to overly brag, but I mean, we integrate with Optimal Blue. We integrate with Closing Corp and other automated fee solutions so that Mortgage Coach really becomes the ultimate pricing engine, because it's getting rates from your pricing engine. It's getting fees from your fee engine, and we can even pull in MI costs. So Mortgage Coach is making it faster, easier, and more accurate to quote rates. So I just wanted to call that out real quick.
Right on. Thanks, Dave.
You got to be an enterprise member to get that. So if you're an individual user and your company is not an enterprise client, have their manager reach out to me, Dave at Mortgage Coach.
All right. So finally, because I'm doing a low LTV refinance, I want to make sure and roll in all these costs too. So I'm going to use the add all fees to loan. This is going to finance in all the costs. So if you're not aware of what this checkbox does, this is to finance everything in. Otherwise, it'll be called for at close. So done that, I'm going to go ahead and apply those to the loan. And you can see I'm still really low LTV. I'm not going to need mortgage insurance on this one. This is obviously a slam dunk case. So you want to just keep an eye on the LTV. If you do exceed 80% when you are doing your new debt consolidation, consider doing MI for it. But we're going to go ahead and put in those same amounts for the hazard and taxes. And I am done with the first product. Now I am going to create a second product real quick because I want to show you that you can do alternate options within those debts. So in this one, I'm going to say partial payoffs. And then don't forget the copy button. Copy button is your best friend, so you don't have to redo all the legwork. So it copied all the information here on the loan. All I got to do is change my debt structure for this one. So I'm still going to pay the mortgage off. I'm still going to pay the credit card off because that's super high interest rate. But maybe I want to keep the auto loan. I'm not going to pay that off. So we'll just finance these guys in. And you can see our amount financed here. That's because of our closing costs, but we have enough to pay off all the debts and the fees. So we're good there. And then finally, before I go any further on this one, I'm saving them a ton of money per month. So I got to make sure I do something with this. Now, this is a critical element. If you want this graph to continue showing these monthly savings after you do a reinvestment, check this box right here. You don't see anything happen on this screen, but the output will still show the monthly payment difference without the reinvestment, so that your borrower can still see, oh, I'm saving this amount of money per month. They'll see their total cash flow is identical to what they had before, but kind of keep this one in mind. It's a very powerful tool. Then I'm going to jump into the reinvestment strategy. And this is kind of I would probably put this straight back into principal reduction so I could show them paying off their note faster. But if their concern was actually generating long-term wealth, I might show them, okay, pay off all debts and let's put it into a new investment vehicle immediately for this one.
And financial planners, guys, will like to see that money go into assets. But guys, it's an opportunity for you to collaborate with the financial advisor. And how do we want to show this to your client?
And you can do both. You can show them paying off all the debts and reinvesting towards a home, or taking the savings and actually investing with a financial advisor. You can do both.
Yeah,
and then
or you could do a hybrid. Hey, let's put 300 in asset reduction and 400 in an interest-bearing account.
And then it's also an opportunity here to create a referral to a financial advisor. Like, hey, let's get you with a financial advisor and talk about reinvesting this. So I mean, the opportunities everywhere with this.
Absolutely. And then the other part I would draw your attention to, there's another checkbox down here, and you may not be aware of what this does, but right now you can see my freedom point is 30 years. I'm amassing all this money, but I haven't got it earmarked to pay off the loan. So if I check this box, this is basically saying pay off the loan when I have enough in this account to pay it off, then continue accumulating. And you can see when I do that, my freedom point, I'll have enough in that account to pay off my note in 9 years versus 22.3 years on the current situation. Same thing on this guy, even with partial payoffs, 10.5 years. So really is still a powerful approach, even if I'm leaving one debt open. And again, kind of what we were talking about before, if we were looking to coach our financial planner partners, this analysis might include another option on here where I just use the copy button again. But instead of putting this, let's say this $1,000 back into 5%, I'd put it into the savings account and show them, here's what would happen if you pocketed the money in your current savings account. And that's the lead in my video where I would say, we need to talk to your financial planner because you can use these high interest yield accounts to gain a lot more money over time than using your current savings account. All right, finally, go to the presentation screen. You can edit these payment notes, so make sure to do that. These are a really powerful place to put in any additional information. It doesn't necessarily even have to be about the payment. It could be qualifying terms. It could be, a call out to your realtor partner, or whatever you want to do here. Same thing with the welcome message. You have full control over that welcome message. And then we're just going to go down to the very last screen. I'm going to pop a quote date on this because I am showing rates. And then we're going to generate the link. And then this is actually ready to go to the borrower, but always out of video. I can't stress this enough. Some people are kind of skittish about getting on camera. Just get on camera. Just do it. It's just like meeting them in person. You're the same person on camera as you would be if you're standing in front of them. And if you're afraid to get in front of your borrower, maybe it's time to reevaluate some things. So get in here, go into the web browser, and just have it turn on your camera. It's real simple. Move it up to the top so you can kind of keep your eye on it while you're recording. And then just hit record. Hi, Mr. Borrower. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me the other day. I put together a debt consolidation analysis for you, showing a couple of different options of paying off all the debts or just paying off the partial debts. You also see some reinvestment strategies in there. So click on the more info section in that summary area, and it'll really drill down into how much you can get over time by reinvesting your cost savings. You're going to have questions when you're done viewing this presentation. So make sure and give me a call. Have a wonderful day, and tell Joe Realtor I said, hi, that guy's awesome.
All right, guys.
Upload it. You're good to go. All right, Dave, all you.
All right, guys. So I want to make sure you're aware of some other training assets that are critical to your success, and then we'll do some closing thoughts for everyone. So remember, guys, we hired this e-learning expert. And so now we're rolling out Mortgage Coach. Not only do we give you a new feature, and in the past, you might have got an email, an update on our website, some social media. Well, now it's, there's a training assistant within the product. This is a link to a page on our support page. I already put a link. So if you're watching this in Zoom. I already put a link to this in Zoom. Everything I'm going to show you right now, you have links to already. But within this link, it's got a few more links. So one of the things that we've always had these how-to videos. So there's a full 14-minute video from Jacob training you on how to do this. And he doesn't have me saying, hey, Jacob, you got 3 more minutes. It's like a comprehensive training video that you can forward to your team or you can watch yourself. But that's not enough. We want to make sure that you can really drill down and learn how to read this report. So our e-learning expert at Mortgage Coach created how to read a debt consolidation analysis in Mortgage Coach. So this is for you. Guys, this is all for your borrowers. This is also something that you can add to your pitch book to financial advisors. This can be social media content. This can be part of your presentation, and it's part of our training platform. So you got this. What else? That's not enough. Oh, we got a whole debt consol playbook. So I would recommend that you print this out and actually follow along. Like when you watch Jacob's video, this might be something you want to have. And guys, I would probably have this printed out next in my workspace for a month. You know, like my goal, like if I'm head of production or I'm a regional or I'm a branch manager, I'm gonna say, okay, guys, we're all gonna learn to be these Mortgage Coach liability advisors. We're gonna become ninjas. Print this out. I want 20 debt consolidation analysis by the end of the month. Or again, that's me. I'm ambitious. I want 20. But if you're not asking for your sales force to do at least 5, you're on the slow road. You are not preparing for the future of lending, and you're not taking advantage of this opportunity. So every manager out there, make sure that your loan officers do 5 debt consolidation analysis over the next 30 days. And you know what? If you don't have all those leads, go back to some old like annual reviews, go back to some old clients. Maybe it's a loan that you did and you already won the loan, you already closed the loan. Go put it in the system, learn how to do this thing. So let's go around the room with closing thoughts. Todd, I'll give you the last word. Jacob, what are your closing thoughts? And then I'm going to come to you, Keith, you, Sheldon, and close out with Todd. Jacob.
Well, I would just say, kind of circling back to the very beginning here, it's not a new strategy. People have been doing debt consolidation for years, but it's a timely strategy. So make sure to make it part of your arsenal right now. Some other notes that I wasn't able to show on the call today is you don't have to do it all manually. You can actually import a Fannie Mae file and it'll bring in your debts if you've already pulled them back in your LOS. So keep that in mind. We can import Fannie Mae 3.2s and the new format, the 3.4. They will both come into Mortgage Coach. Again, start a new client, hit the import button, and you can import the Fannie Mae. It'll fill out your debts for you. Carla had a question about what rates do you use if you don't know them yet. You can certainly estimate rates for your first conversation with the client, but it's a great lead in to ask them for the rates because you're not going to see the rates on those debts on their liability report. So kind of keep that in mind. It's just a breadcrumb in, and then you can fine tune all those recommendations when they actually give you the percentage rates. But I'll go ahead and pass that along. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, Keith, closing thoughts.
Yeah, man. I mean, a couple of things here. I mean, first thing is opportunities everywhere. As interest rates pivot up a little bit here, potentially some of the just kind of easy lay down refinances may not be there. And this is just an opportunity and a tool provided to the originator to have the additional conversation and ask, like, do you have any debts you'd like to consider paying off? Have you ever thought about home improvement? It's just the additional kind of probing questions to ask to find other opportunities to help the customer and generate additional refinances. And then I think, this is another tool is like Quicken cannot compete with this, right? Like this is a differentiator from all the major banks and major players and a lot of the independent mortgage banks and brokers that might be in your market. Not a lot of people are using this. And so just taking the extra 5-10 minutes to jump into this, create a TCA debt consolidation. I mean, it completely takes rate out of the scenario and it's where you walk into the mortgage advisor and really make differences with the customer. And then kind of the final thing that I'm writing down, like I've been texting my virtual assistant right now. I'm having my virtual assistant pull every financial advisor in my local market. And we're going to do custom audience targeted ads on Facebook and Instagram around this debt consolidation tool. So, I mean, it's just a huge opportunity to brand myself. And you said this, man, certified liability manager, liability management solutions. Like, I love that, right? The words that we use create emotion and conversion. And so like we're, asset managers, debt consolidation, and liability management solutions. Like I have liability management solutions for your customers. Check out the video. I'm really fired up about this.
Well, I can't wait to see a video that you do. Please, when you do something, share it in the mortgage coach community so Sheldon can copy it in your local market.
Just as
Sheldon,
long as Keith copies my videos, Dave.
Sheldon, what are some of your closing thoughts, brother?
I'll just speak to the time savings piece. I watched Jacob's instructional video. When did you put it out, Jacob? March?
Yeah, something like that. That sounds about
Okay,
right.
so I think I watched it in mid-March. I've closed 5 of these thus far. I've been referred to these people's family members, and they are the easiest loans I'm doing right now. I never get shopped. There's no questions asked. They're raving. It's just a piece of cake versus a rate and term refinance or a purchase right now.
Love it. Todd, coach, Mr. Win by Noon, wrap us up, brother.
First off, Dave and team over at Mortgage Coach, congrats. I mean, you guys truly crushed it on not just making it the product, but making it the advice engine, making it a training platform. I mean, doing everything that you've done. I think it's a huge gift. And you've already upgraded something that was amazing to like take it over the top. And I can't tell you how excited I am for you guys, and congrats for doing that. I would probably just throw on there 2 things as a follow-up, right? You heard Keith say opportunity is everywhere. You heard Sheldon say that he's already closed 5 of these. And you heard Dave say that you need to do 5 TCAs. If you're a leader, you should be encouraging your team to do a minimum of 5. And I think that's the action plan. The action plan is to go out and look for the opportunities, look for the refis that you did before that you couldn't close, that maybe now you can because you have this tool. And then if you don't have them, do what Dave said, just practice on old TCAs that you had. And I think if you can get this under your belt, you're going to be better. So as a leader, I think it's your time to step up. As a producer, I think it's your time to become this debt manager for your clients. Dave already said what I've always believed is that the person without huge amount of investable assets is left behind in the financial advisor community. You're the closest thing that they have. Put that hat on, put that shirt on, wear it proud, and be their debt advisor and help your clients get wealthy by just owning a home and by you giving them a better loan.
Love it. So guys, we've had questions on these links. I have put all the links down below. We will work on a more comprehensive playbook where, hey, let's go to this link and you got it all. I mean, there is a link like that in our support page. So I would assume if you went to Mortgage Coach, you went to our support page, you typed in debt consolidation analysis, you'd get everything I just showed you. So also remember, we have a chat feature. It's not only in the advice engine, but ask chat, use the Mortgage Coach Google, which is our page. We will be doing more training on this. Todd, could I ask a favor of you, because you do such a great job of documenting, you invented the Win by Noon planner, maybe come up with use one of the tools in the Win by Noon planner, but kind of give a Todd Bookspan, whether you're a loan officer or you're a branch manager, here is a Win by Noon playbook on how to get this started. And I'm not asking you to create a new form or anything, but just use one of your current ones, but share it in both the Win by Noon community and the Mortgage Coach community. Would you be cool with that?
Dude, I love that idea. I totally can roll that out. I will get that done this weekend.
So guys, stay tuned for Todd, a master planner, a master coach, a master trainer, Win by Noon style. You're going to get some more information. So guys, we hope you got value from this. For anybody on the Mortgage Coach team that's listening to this, I think this is like a super proud moment. We set out probably 3 years ago to say, how do we make Mortgage Coach the easiest piece of technology to use and learn? And since that time, we've added gamification so that you're being recognized and rewards for your skill and your effort within our product. So it's top of mind. We've brought on more team members so that we have, we've always had a lot of videos and a lot of content, but how can we make it so it's more digestible? And we've got more digestible content. And then how do we give you everything you need to learn, train, and use Mortgage Coach? The only thing I haven't shown you is some social media content where how can you take this new superpower and actually generate leads? But guys, stay tuned. That's coming. We got Keith Collins. We have other innovative mortgage coaches that will be taking this new superpower to the market. So sorry for going a few minutes over on this Friday Mastermind. I'm actually going to start a personal vacation next Friday, and Todd is going to be doing a Todd Bookspan Mortgage Coach takeover next Friday at 9 o'clock. So stay tuned for what that will be. Dan Keller has agreed to do a mortgage coach takeover next Tuesday. Not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. I think it's the 18th. Dan will take over that. He's seen if he can get Jeremy to join him. So it could be like one of those calls I want to listen to. And then Todd will be doing the next Friday too. So we'll see you next Tuesday, but hopefully you got a lot of value. Sheldon, thanks for all the time you've committed to bringing leadership back into the community. That interview we did, plus this full hour and 10 minutes. And Keith Collins, as always, bro, you the man. Appreciate you.
You guys.
And Jacob, thank you, brother, for more things than I can think to thank you. Appreciate you.
Got it.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Have a good day, guys.
Calls were
Till
out.
next week.